The big story of the last 15-20 minutes odd is, however, been the Lupin results, which were a miss, and that stock is sitting at the low point of the day. But to answer all your queries, we have Mayuresh Joshi and Rajat Bose. So let's take it first to our first query. We have Anjali Patil writing to us from Mumbai, holds about 1,000 shares of NMDC at 137 rupees for the last 2.5 years. Long-term investor, wants to know whether to hold or sell. A view on NMDC, Mayuresh, what would you say? The volumes came by earlier in today's trading session, and they didn't seem to be very good.
Well, yes, Mangalam, afternoon. And again, I think the lumpy nature in terms of reported volumes is something that has played out on the stock price. But a large element is in terms of the expectations of volume growth going forward. Even if one presumes the sales volume to grow between 8 and 9 odd %, they're looking at volumes of 40 million tons for 19, maybe 41 million tons for FY20. And they have recently hiked prices both for lumps as well as fines. So I think that incrementally will add on to their EBITDA and the reported EBITDA per ton. Again, their mine life and the integration that they're doing, I think that should also affect the strong earnings growth that the company has. And again, I think the sweetener is obviously the dividend yield that it gives out. So I think it might be lumpy for a few more quarters, but as things start stabilizing in terms of volume growth, getting reflected in terms of the margins and the bottom line, I think the earnings estimates should also improve for the stock. So clear hold from my side.
All right, so a hold on NMDC. Up next, we have Mr. Ravindra Pungshe, who's called in from Mumbai, and his query is on Lupin. Hi, sir. How can we help you?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Tell us.
See, I want to ask whether the bad days for pharmaceutical shares are over, or should I buy more and make average, or should I sell it now?
Okay, well, you've called on the day that Lupin has just announced its quarterly earnings, and well, I'd hate to, sort of be very blunt, but it's not looking good. So, Mayuresh, once again, this is a query that's heading your way. Mr. Pungshe, for now, seems to be making a profit in Lupin, but he wants to know how long the tough times will last. I mean, the management itself has said that FY19 is just a year of consolidation, so not a lot of growth there. So, should he just take his money and perhaps put it to work elsewhere?
I think, Sumera, afternoon again. I think if it's a strategy which is probably looking at having a few pharma stocks as a defensive play within his overall portfolio, I think Lupin has disappointed in terms of reported numbers which just came through. So I think the competition in terms of US pricing, the competition in methargine, the competition that they witnessed in Glumets and Fortimet continued in terms of the revenue growth. The margins again were disappointing. So I think the management commentary in terms of what actually disappointed on the EBITDA front, it will be very, very interesting. But again, I think they've got a very strong pipeline, Sumera. So I think the pipeline that they've got and the Solosec ramp up, along with the Enbrel biosimilar which they are working on with Mylan, I think that should probably have a huge earnings potential from next financial year. So yes, I think this year probably will be a consolidation as the management had put forth. But any updates in terms of even the Goa and Indore plants over the next few quarters can have significant earnings traction because of the strong A&D and the FTS that they probably possess. So if the investor probably has a longer view and the patience to hold on, I think he should hold on to this.
All right, hold on if you have the patience, and he has got it at a lower price, currently sitting with a gain of around 42,000 rupees on this one. That's about Lupin, down about 5% from today's Lupin for you. Meanwhile, we have Ms. Rukmini Rathore writing to us from Jaipur, holds about 26,000 shares of Future Consumer at 65 rupees for the last 1 year, wants to know the future for Future Consumer. Well, Mayuresh, this company continues to make losses on the bottom line. Today, the numbers for Future Consumer did come by. She's making a bit of a loss. 65 rupees is her purchase price, which was perhaps the high that we saw in the stock in the recent times. Currently trading at 50 rupees. What is your outlook for Future Consumer going forward?
So Mangalam, again, I think the losses that they've posted, I think, is more or less because of what happens in terms of the lower margin fruits and vegetable business, for example. So I've not gone into the details of numbers, but a large element in terms of how their revenues have probably grown over the past few years and the expectations of a revenue CAGR in excess of 35-36 odd %. I think that itself should ensure that the top line is probably far more secure. When you're talking about the margins, they have reported an EBITDA margin of 1.8% for FY18. So any improvement on that front will clearly play out on the bottom line and get the company out of losses that it posts. But again, I think the view again has to be a little bit more futuristic for a future consumer. So if the investor has the patience over the next 2 to 3 years with the expectations that they might probably start reporting profits, I think then you're probably looking at the price earnings growth to come back to this.
All right, gentlemen, thanks very much for your view on stocks this afternoon. We'll wrap up on the show with the news that the mid-cap index is slipping, but we'll leave it to closing bell to take the market action forward. Thanks for watching.